Hey everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of Orange County, Season 14, Episode 3. All aboard the rumor train. We're picking up exactly where we left off the barbecue housewarming party at Tamara's house. All the ladies are now sitting outside on the couches. And Vicki is trying to tell Kelly that she cares about her. Kelly is saying, no, you don't. Kelly says, you don't know what you've done. You've hurt my daughter. And then Kelly yells at her, I've never done cocaine. Have you ever seen me do cocaine? And Vicki said, no, I haven't. No, I'm not saying I saw you do it. Everyone's kind of like eyes down, quiet. They don't know what to say. Kelly gets up and leaves. She says something to Shannon and Tamara like, I don't know how you two do it. I can't not do this with her. I don't want to. She goes into the house. She's going to leave. And then Tamara and Shannon go after her. And Tamara asks her, do you want me to tell Vicki she has to leave? And Kelly said, no, I just want to go. And I've got Julie at home anyway. Meanwhile, outside, Vicki must have said, I'm trying to apologize to her. And Gina's like, yeah, Vicki, you need to stop doing things that you need to apologize for. Now, let's not be rash. Where would we be if these housewives didn't do things they needed to apologize for, okay? Don't tell her to stop doing things. No. I think Vicki said something like, what else did I do? And so Bronwyn said, are you kidding? You went after her husband. You went after her husband and her husband. And then we see a flashback of 30 minutes earlier where in the kitchen, they were getting Bronwyn all caught up on all the things Vicki has done and said. Gina goes, I'm going through a lot of stuff right now. And Vicki goes, and I called you. And she said, I know you did, and you were very nice, but then I hear that Emily jumped in and said that you hate her. She goes, I never said I hate her. And Gina goes, well, you said that, that she's another jailbird. And okay, that part's true. We saw that in a text last week. Oh, okay. So Bronwyn goes, I get an instant vibe with everybody, and I'm not getting a good one with you, Vicki. And she goes, okay, that's fine, because you let little birds talk in your ear. And she goes, doesn't have anything to do with little birds. Now Shannon, on the other hand, is having a love affair with Bronwyn. She pulls her aside and she goes, I have very many acquaintances, but very few friends. I just felt like an instant connection with you. So I was wondering if you'd like to go out for a cocktail. She asked her out on a date. Oh, I love it. I'm loving this duo. This could be a really good thing for Shannon. I should also say, I think Emily was leaving. Oh, Vicki is jealous. Vicki's goes to get Steve, and she's like, do you want to go? And in Vicki's confessional, she goes, this is weird. I don't know. This is supposed to be Tamara's housewarming. I don't know who this brown wind is. It's not even funny because you're so jealous. Okay, oh God. How do I even describe this next scene? Well, let me first say that there's a little scene with Vicki as she's leaving, and she goes up to Bronwyn, who is talking to Gina. And she said, listen, I know who I am. I know the kind of person I am. So don't listen to anybody else. Listen to me. And Bronwyn said, well, I was listening to my gut. And she's like, well, you can be nasty or you can be nice. And Bronwyn said, I will never be nasty. Okay, then be nice. That's your other choice. And Bronwyn goes, well, I'll be honest. How about that? And she goes, okay, well, I don't even care. I don't care. Okay, now who's being nasty, Vicki? Anyway, meanwhile, Eddie is outside talking to a couple other guys. And Tamara comes out and she goes, I'm drinking, so you can have anal. Yes. And the conversation he's in is, I'm getting out of going to church for 2 weeks. Yes. By who? Your church-loving wife who's telling you can have anal? So cuckoo crazy. But I don't know. I guess because she'll let him have anal when she's drunk, I guess. I'm making a lot of assumptions, but I don't really want to know the details. But the best part of this whole scene was that Eddie said, I don't want your anal. Oh. That's so sad, especially because she had turned around and was wiggling her little butt in his face. Oh my God. Is there anything more embarrassing? I mean, listen, it's her own fault for saying it in the first place. But you wiggle your little butt and your husband says, I don't want your anal? The guys are laughing. That was a strange and sad little scene. Well, she goes right from her husband rejecting her ass to going into the kitchen to grab Bronwyn's boobs. Bronwyn's like, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm having the time of my life. And Shannon's standing there too, and Tamara grabs Bronwyn and goes, I think we've got a new Tres Amigas! We've got a new Tres Amigas! And Shannon goes, yep, pretty much. And we end with the three of them standing up on Tamara's new kitchen island, whooping it up like they're at Andalays. Okay, the next scene we have is at Gina's new house, and her mom and dad are coming to visit her. I love her mom and dad. I think they're both very sweet. They're always very supportive of her. She has a good relationship with them. She's showing them the house, and while I do love her new house, it's very sunny, it's pretty. They show like the guest room, and there's just a tremendous view out the window of mountains and stuff. I would love it. She has some sort of a problem with laundry. Like, there are just piles of clothes everywhere. It really is a little disconcerting. It isn't like she's just a straight up hoarder and there are dishes in the sink and there's junk everywhere, and it's not like that. It's just clothes. It's like either she doesn't know what to do with them. I don't know if they're clean. I don't know if they're dirty. They're in piles everywhere. It's strange. Okay, the scene with Gina ends a little sad. Her mom said, you seem like you're in a good place, so I really don't want to bring this up now, but Matt's been hitting me up on the phone. I guess a lot. And she said, do you know why? And Gina started crying, and I don't know. We don't know why yet at this point in the show. I should have said this at the beginning. I don't know yet because I'm watching the show as I'm filming with you. So we haven't gotten to that part yet. But if it even comes, I don't know why Matt would be calling her mom. I don't know if he's saying things like, I'm getting worried about Gina. I don't know what it's about. But it got her very upset. Her dad said, Gina, you've done a great job as a mom in keeping the kids from finding any of this stuff out. And yeah, she's just crying. And that's kind of how that scene ends. Next, we are at dinner with Bronwyn and Shannon. In Shannon's confessional, she goes, I'm not usually good with the new girls, and now I find myself wanting to see her again. I mean, I'll tell you what, this new Shannon storms the door is apparently an enigma that even Shannon can't understand yet. Well, they're yucking it up and having a good time. And then Shannon said, I don't know if this is too early in the conversation, but I spoke to Vicki, and she said that Bronwyn came up to me at the party and said, I don't know you. I'm just going to go with my gut, and I don't like you. Oh, God. That is not what she said. And her gut might have given her a different feeling if you didn't snub her when you got to the party. And if it's because, like I said, I think it's because you were so freaking nervous about seeing Kelly and you knew you wanted to talk to her about the pig video and all that. And like I'm sure you were like a little bit awkward and nervous. If that was the case, then you needed to tell her. You know, Vicki always wants someone to come to her. She's the queen bee. Okay, so Bronwyn says, well, no, that's not what happened. My very first interaction with her, she tells her then that, she said hello to everybody else, but not me. My second interaction was to see her, like, petting my husband. So, yeah, Vicki did not make a good first impression on her. That's not Bronwyn's fault. Shannon takes Bronwyn through the litany of their entire friendship, hers and Vicki's, and how Vicki, brought out in the open that David beats her, which she denied adamantly, and then how she was actually then a good friend to her when she was going through her divorce, and Vicki's been very good to her since. So Bronwyn's like, well, you know what? I really had nothing else to base it on other than my interactions with her. And also Kelly, I really care about Kelly. And that she hurt Jolie. Listen, if somebody hurt my kids, we're moms first and foremost. We're moms. And Shannon's like, yes, absolutely. And she said, and if I'm afraid that at some point you might hurt one of my kids, I'm going to have a hard time being friends with you. Oh, we are getting a little backstory. Bronwyn was a dance mom. Rowan, the dancer, her 16-year-old, that's her second daughter. She traveled all over the country with her daughter in dance competitions and stuff. She missed Koa, her youngest daughter's first birthday. No, not her youngest daughter. That's Hazel, right? Koa is the Tasmanian devil. She missed Koa's first birthday. Okay, this is another sad scene because Rowan has OCD, extreme case of it. It got to the point where she couldn't even get out of bed, and so they went and saw a specialist. This part was, she kind of skimmed over this a little bit fast because she said, and then she went to New York, and the doctors, everyone thought that would be good for her. She's only 16 now, I think, right? So I don't know when she went to New York. Does she mean on her own and for treatment, or for, I'm not sure, because she didn't explain any of that. But she said when she came home, she had lost 25 pounds. And she wouldn't talk to them, and she was like a different person. They took her to get treatment. I think they put her in like a rehab. So she said she didn't have to go to school. She didn't have to do any. They just wanted her to be happy, and that it shaped the way they raised all of the rest of their kids. Bronwyn had some guilt because she had so many other children, thinking that she wasn't giving enough attention to her. That seems a little bit weird to me because she was alone with her a lot while she was dancing. You know, like she said, she missed another daughter's birthday because she was with Rowan. So I don't know that that's the case. I mean, listen, mental illnesses suck. It's not like it's somebody's fault. You know, she wouldn't think it was her fault if her daughter got cancer. So I think that people need to look at mental illness the way they look at any other illness, and like stop placing shame on it or guilt or anything else, you know? Anyway, as she's telling her this, Shannon is like losing it. To the point where Bronwyn had to stop and say, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, I mean, not really." Shannon's going through it with one of her daughters. She said, "Mom, I'm not going to be better than a C student." And I should say that Bronwyn had said that she and Sean, when they shifted their whole way of parenting, it was like, "I don't care about you getting straight A's." And, you know, it used to be like straight A's and get into a good school and all that stuff. And now it was just like, none of that matters. You being healthy and happy, and like it just changed everything for them. So with Shannon getting as upset as she did, she said that happened with one of her daughters after the divorce, and how much that really got to the kids, and that one of her daughters was like that, and that Shannon is now like, "I don't care. That's fine. You know, God has a plan for us and for you, and you just basically like, yes, we're taking the pressure off of that." Okay, so now we are checking in with Tamara, and she is moving her mom, Sandy, into an apartment in an old folks' home. She's 68. Come on, Tamara. You're almost 68. No. How old is Tamara? 68? Tamara's got to be 50, right? Isn't Tamara in her 50s? Sandy must have been really young when she had Tamara. Anyway, so they're moving her in, and then Eddie's bringing this box in, and they're going, "What are you holding that for? You shouldn't be holding that. What are you doing with that?" And he's like, "What is it?" "It's her wedding dress to Simon." And he goes, "Why do you still have it?" And she goes, "I didn't even know. Mom, why do you have it?" And she goes, "Well, it's a nice dress." Okay, then we see a picture of Tamara in the dress in 1998, and two things. One, it is a nice dress. It's very classic and pretty and would be beautiful to wear today. You know, it like held the test of time. But Tamara, I mean, how many faces ago was that? I know she's only had a lower facelift, but she had to have something with the nose and it. I don't know. Maybe it's just the hairstyle. Is it just the bangs and the poofy hair? I don't know. But it's, if you just showed me that picture, I would be hard-pressed to tell you who that woman was. Okay, now we're at Emily's house. Okay, it's not going well for you, Shane, this year. Good God. Anyway, Gina is over, and Emily is telling her, "You know how I was planning that trip for Vegas?" And she said, "Yeah," because then we got a flashback to 2 weeks ago when they were having lunch, she told her about it. It's their anniversary. She and Shane have been married for 10 years. And she was planning a trip for Vegas for after he takes the bar exam. And she has always wanted to learn how to dance, like to take a class to dance on stage. I don't know if she means like showgirl or I don't know. Gina didn't know either because Gina said for both of you to dance. And she's like, no, just me, like to dance for Shane. And she's like, oh, okay, like, you know, to do like, I guess sort of a sexy burlesque kind of a thing for him. So now they're sitting on the couch and she said, so we were talking about Las Vegas. And she said, you know, I can't lie very well. So I told him about it. She goes, I don't know. It's not like he was mean about it, but like I wanted him to be happy about it. And I'm thinking, what did he say? He said he wouldn't be comfortable with that. So here's the thing. Gina, I think, nailed this on the head. She said, this is a guy who didn't even like cursing in his house. So why would Emily even think he would like something like that? And I get it, like maybe privately in the bedroom he would, although I question that too. But why on earth would she think he would want that as a public spectacle? I'm kind of with Gina on this one. Not that I don't think it was an awesome thing for a wife to plan and to want to do for her husband, and 99.9% of the time the husband would appreciate it, believe me. But again, I'm kind of siding with Gina here. Why would you think Shane would? That's not his thing. So she's, you know, she's a little down. She's a little depressed about it. She said, I guess I just was thinking I would want him to have, like, at least be proud of me for doing something like that, or I don't know. Anyway, she's gotten so stressed out about it that she has a bald patch on the side of her head. And Gina's like, oh. And she goes, yeah, my alopecia came back. And she goes, oh, sorry. Gina's like, are you fighting still? And she goes, no, I haven't talked to him in 2 days. And she goes, well, it's okay. He's studying for the bar exam. And Gina's like, okay, but you have to talk about it. You know, you got to get this out. Yeah, I will, Emily said. But he's staying at a hotel all this week and all next week because he's studying for the bar exam. Gina's like, Gina thinks that seems fishy. This is Gina who had a husband in another apartment that she didn't even know where it was and was trying to get us to believe that everything was okay in her marriage because Matt just works in another city. And so it's a long commute. So he just comes home on the weekends. Yeah. How many times, good God, do we have to turn this into a drinking game? I've got my hot water and lemon right here if we do. Every time someone on this show says Shane is studying for the bar exam, cheers. Yeah. Anyway, Emily said, he said, listen, I don't want to stop you from doing something you want to do, but just make it a girls' trip. Okay. Actually, listen, who am I kidding? She's going to have way more fun if it's just a girls' trip, but still. She wanted to dance for you on your anniversary. Okay. Anyway, Gina's like, oh, you know what? Las Vegas just really isn't in the cards for me right now. It's not a part of my journey. And I respect that too, because if she's trying to kind of sober up here and she just had a DUI and probably that's a good idea, then yeah. Emily's like, why can't you go? And she said, well, I don't have a license because they took it away from me. She goes, you could use your passport. I lost my passport on New Year's Eve. Okay. And she said, I've been having a really tough year, Emily. She goes, I know. She goes, you know, when we were at Tamra's, I knew something was up and you just didn't seem right. And well, then Gina gets all quivery and she said, it's, you know, I've alluded to things, but I've never really come out and said it because if I don't say it, it's not true. And she goes, I can't talk about it. I just can't talk about it. And she gets up and walks away. So she's kind of like talking to herself, and she goes, I want to leave. And she goes and she like sits on the couch in the other room, and then she gets up and she goes, okay, you know what? I'm going to talk about it. So she goes back to the couch and she said, okay, I'm going to talk about it because like your problems now seem so stupid. Okay. But when we moved here, like when Luca was like 4 months old, Matt had an affair. And she said, I know you knew about it, but like I just could never really talk about it. Okay, so Emily has known all along, like all last year, I guess, whenever it got brought up, and she would defend Matt's my best friend and all that stuff. But they got past it. They went to counseling and all that. But then I guess the counseling brought up other issues within the marriage. I don't know. It sounds like a mess. But anyway, here's the real deal of why she's crying and upset now. She just found out that he's seeing that woman again and has been for about 6 months. So, yeah, that's a kick in the gut. So Gina's like, I mean, we're still going to co-parent, but like this changes everything for me. Like it's just, it's not going to be anything more than that. It never should have been anything more than that. You are divorced. And then Emily said the question that I was thinking all along. Did they ever stop seeing each other? And she goes, I really couldn't tell you. So there you go. I doubt it. Probably. I mean, it's possible, but yeah. So she found a Valentine card from her to him. I don't know where she found it, but she said it was just finding that was like getting cheated on all over again. Like it felt exactly the same way as it did the first time she found out he was having an affair. So anyway, that's kind of the end of that scene. It's just, my heart is breaking for Gina. I actually even understand maybe even the DUI more. Because like, if she's dealing with so much stuff, she probably drank more than she should have, or maybe more than she normally would have. And also, I think Emily is a great girlfriend to have. And I like her even more now. Okay, now we're checking in with Kelly, and she and Jolie are in Aspen. I don't know if she's there with Dr. Reagan and his son. I'm going to assume they're going to meet up because didn't he say that's why he couldn't go to Tamara's party? I think so. Anyway, she had been taking Jolie to Aspen for her birthday for like the last 5 years, just the two of them. And for her 13th birthday, they talked Michael into getting her Gucci shoes. So they've got a whole bunch of Gucci bags and they're shopping, and it looks fun and it looks beautiful too. My husband and I are trying to plan a trip to Colorado because it's one of I call it our retirement tour, because when he retires, we want to move somewhere, and we're just trying to figure out where in the country we want to be. I know you would think New York to be by our daughter, which does make sense, except that we can't afford to live in New York City. Or even, gosh, there are even towns in New Jersey. We're not looking for like a higher cost of living than we have right here. We live in a suburb of Chicago, actually, right now. Taxes are high, and Illinois has like the highest property taxes and stuff like that. So we're just looking for someplace less expensive to live, but also someplace that we would love to live. And one of the things on my bucket list is mountains, probably because I grew up in Illinois with like flat farmland. So we're going to look at Fort Collins, and I can't think of the other town that we were looking at, but anyway, we wanted to try and do that sometime in September. But Aspen just looks like a beautiful Christmas card. Okay, this next scene is with Bronwyn and Rowan, her daughter, who's the dancer, and Sean, and they go to this, I don't know if this is where Sean works or what. It's called Channel Star. In any case, Rowan has her own line of dancewear, and it's called Dark Rabbit. It's really cool. It's like, looks like ballerina skirts and tights and leotards and stuff like that, but a little bit edgy. I liked it. Anyway, so I'm a little confused. Sean, is he just making a commercial for her? I don't totally remember what he does for a living, but I think that's what's happening. He's doing something with her branding, I think. Now it is the evening, and Tamara is picking up Gina, and they are going, I guess it's going to be a girls' night. We'll find out who else shows up at the restaurant, but they're in the car, and Gina's like, things aren't good with Matt. Gina just, once she got it out, I think it felt good, and now she just wants to get it over with and tell everybody. You know, I kind of know how that feels. So Tamara said, no, why? And she said, okay, so before I met you guys, he had an affair, and I didn't tell anybody because it was in the past, and I just didn't want to talk about it. And I think she said she was getting something like of the kids out of his car, and it fell out, and it was a Valentine's card from her. Tamara goes, the same one? And she goes, yeah, they've been seeing each other like 6 months or something. And she goes, oh. So anyway, she's getting it all out. I guess she didn't want to bring the whole mood down, or maybe she didn't want to tell everybody who's going to be at this dinner tonight. So that's why she just told Tamara in the car real quick before they even got there. Oh, okay. The only other two coming are Shannon and her girlfriend, Bronwyn. I have never seen Shannon take to someone like this. And she's right. Shannon is right. She did take to Vicki well, or Vicki to her, rather, because Shannon was the new girl at the time. They did, like, bond well. But this, Shannon, I have never seen her like this. She might love Bronwyn more than I do. Oh, okay. So this was Bronwyn that arranged it. She had such a good time at Tamara's party that she just wanted to get to know some people a little bit better. Why didn't she invite Emily? Because, I mean, it's just Tamara, Shannon, and Gina. Kelly's out of town. She's not going to invite Vicki. I suppose Emily is busy with the kids, right? Oh, God. Shannon was talking to Vicki earlier and said that the four of them were having dinner, and she said, oh, like she felt left out and felt bad. Okay, so she talked to Bronwyn about it, and Bronwyn's like, I don't want to make this call. Tamara's like, well, so should we invite her? So yeah, Shannon calls her. She's like, hey, where you at? And she goes, oh, I was shopping with Emily. And she goes, oh, is she with you? No, not anymore. We were in separate cars. So what's happening? Why is Emily being excluded? Anyway, she said, oh, well, we're over at Tortilla Republic. Come over and meet us. She goes, okay, I'll be there in a few minutes. I would not go. If I were Vicki and these four ladies had plans to go out, I would not insert myself in that, even if I felt left out or whatever. But have no fear, she's on her way. Okay, so Vicki shows up at the restaurant, and this should be good, because I just remembered that Gina's not in a real good place with Vicki either. Okay, well, the whole thing starts with Bronwyn apologizing to Vicki. She said, I think I overreacted based on, things that I had heard. And for that, I'm sorry. And Vicki's like, oh, well, I appreciate that. Let's start fresh. And Bronwyn's like, okay. And they all cheers. Yeah, great. Oh, good. Shannon looks all relieved and stuff. But if I were Bronwyn, there would be a residual feeling of, and then maybe, Vicki, you could apologize for not saying hello to me when you said hello to every other woman that was standing in the circle I was standing in, except for me. How about that? Okay, then they all do a tequila shot, and Bronwyn and Tamara kiss, and then Shannon takes Gina by the head and tries to kiss her, only Gina was going in so tentatively with her lips pursed, and Shannon was kind of going in for some sort of an open mouth thing. Shannon really does like to kiss now. I mean, Shannon Storm Spador really likes to kiss, but I don't think Gina, she's trying to get over Matt. I don't think getting over Matt by now kissing 50-year-old ladies is exactly what's going to get her over that hump. And meanwhile, Vicki's at the end of the table going, ew, ew. Glad you came, Vicki? Oh my God, okay. Vicki will never change. This is what the problem is. They're talking about Vicki and meeting new people and everything. And she's like, I'm trying to get better at that. And somebody, Shannon, I think, said, well, you liked Kelly right away. And Tamara goes, yeah, where'd that get ya? And, Gina's like, what is the problem, really? What's going on with you two? What is the problem? And she said, I think it is because she knows that I know more than I've even said. That's the kind of stuff you pulled with Shannon. That's the kind of stuff you pulled with Tamara, that you know more than you're even saying. It's such a low blow. And I don't know why she doesn't understand how wrong that is to say that on camera and expect that you're going to actually be able to make friends with this person. And if there's more that you know that you're not even saying, like more than her being a coke addict, why do you want to be friends with her so much? That's why I question it all. It doesn't ring true to me. If Kelly was a real bad seed and she knew all kinds of horrible stuff about her, that's not somebody you would want to try and repair a friendship with, right? So it's that same old threat. I know more than I'm saying, but I'm not going to say it. I just know more than I'm saying. Okay, yes, because you're so discreet. So Tamara's like, what do you know? And she goes, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not telling you or anybody. I'm not going to talk about it. And Tamara goes, are you talking about the train? Oh, everybody shuts up. Shannon. Vicki looks like, Tamara. Okay. Apparently there's something about a train and Kelly, and nobody was going to say anything. In Vicki's confessional, she said, Tamara and Shannon and I all said we were never going to say anything about this. And then Tamara goes and says the train. Okay, first of all right, not cool, Tamara, whatever, but I expect nothing else from Tamara. But Vicki, come on, man. You're the one that started it. You're the one that announced you knew more. Then we're going to get mad at Tamara for being the one that actually tells us what it is. So Gina goes, you said she has a coke habit. And I didn't say that. And now you're saying there's something worse than having a coke habit. I mean, that would be really bad. When Vicki gets all, I think she thinks it's cute, but she gets all like, no, Gina, stop it. I didn't say that. Like, oh, I'm just flighty and cute and I never said anything. No, you just alluded to it and you're the one that started this whole thing. And Gina's like, but you said that you know something worse than the worst thing that you said. The only person really at this table, and it isn't because I love her, but the only person at this table who's acting like I think I would act is Bronwyn. She just looks like this is not good and this is bullshit that everybody's saying this on camera. All right, guys, this is to be continued. I don't know if we're going to find out what happened on the choo-choo train or not. 90% of me wants to know what happened. Just tell us all. But then, of course, there is the 10% of me that is thinking, she has a 12-year-old daughter. Hasn't that kid been through enough? And I suppose if this is true, if there is anything that happened on the train that's true, and it kind of sounds like Shannon and Tamara both believe this to be true. I don't think either of them acted like they were behind the cocaine storyline, but if this is true, then I just feel sorry for that kid. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and leave a comment down below. Love to hear from you guys. And I will be back next Tuesday at 1 p.m. Central Time for the next recap of The Real Housewives of Orange County. I hope you'll join me. Bye-bye.